behind the bitch check-in. It's behind the bitch check-in. It's behind the bitch check-in. You don't know what's going on if I don't check in. So it's behind the bitch check-in. This is weird. So, I think I've already said that I'm not a fan of Restream, but I went ahead and got it because they're about half the price of StreamYard because they were running a Black Friday sale. So I'm not made of money, so I went ahead and got the Restream. And unless I absolutely hate it, I'm going to keep it. So I don't have a ton of time, but I've got a ton of stuff to tell you. First off, the Jeff Dwoskin episode is out this week. And let me tell you, if you want to learn about being a comedian and starting a podcast like I did and using social media, Jeff is like the king of Twitter. He's a co-founder of #Roundup, which is a really cool thing. You can put an app you can get on your phone, and you can do cool stuff with it with hashtags. And gave some real good advice about that. Talked about the podcast, and I look like I'm sitting very low because this is a different screen. That's a little better. Yeah. So if you're watching, throw something in the chat so I know that that's working. But yeah, the Jeff Dwoskin episode is fantastic, and I suggest you give it a listen. Now, on Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be doing some virtual stand-up for the IndiePod United Virtual Summit. And I'm actually writing some podcast-specific humor to go with that because it's going to be a bunch of podcasters. But for that one, you need a ticket. You need to go to indiepodunited.com and get yourself a ticket, and then you can watch me do some comedy. And I suggest you get over there anyway and get a free ticket, because after I do my comedy at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to have one of my good buddies, Joel Byers, on the live feed that they are doing, and this is free. Just still go to IndiePod United and get yourself a free ticket for that. And they put it on YouTube and their Facebook page. I'm sure I'll be sharing it, but it's really nice to be able to, I guess, connect with other podcasters and watch how other people do their podcast, get a lot of advice. I've seen some great advice come through this. And Jeff Dwoskin actually did a social media half hour with, and I can't remember the girl's name, but he talked about Twitter a lot, and she talked about SEO, and got a lot of good information from it. And I found out that when you do a podcast, you're putting the notes in the podcast, you shouldn't just cut and paste them from a website, because that doesn't give you anything unique. And you want unique stuff to drive to your URL or whatever. Jeez. Oh, this is going to take some getting used to. Whew. Yeah, so I got that going on. And then next week, the old hey, that helps. BTB Internet Talk Show is going to be back, and that means I got to get some guests lined up for that, because I got work to do. Oh, I'm doing another show for Mark Masters, and that's going to be Friday, but I don't remember the URL or anything for that. So I'll post that when I know it. So let's recap. Jeff Dwoskin episode is out today, and very, very good episode. If you're a comedian or anybody who's using social media to enhance your brand or get your name out there, then this is a good one to listen to. And we talked about podcasting quite a bit too, and comedy, because he's a comedian too. And Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be doing the virtual stand-up comedy for Indie Pod United. Head over there now and see what podcasts are going on right now, because they're doing it all day, every day. And then after that, I'm doing a half hour with Joel Byers where we talk about the cool stuff that he is doing with the hot breathiverse. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's all I got, because I am making a vegetable pot pie and it takes a little time. And I want to make sure it's done when my lady gets home. Nobody put anything in a chat, so I don't know if it's working or not. But yeah, I'm going to do that, and then take the rest of the night off of thinking about podcast stuff and comedy and all that. So that's what we got going on, and I really appreciate you checking out the podcast and everything that is part of Behind the Bits. And I'll get more stuff uploaded to this and get more used to it. I hate it, but if it's half of what StreamYard costs, then I'm going to learn to love it. I still feel like the camera's wrong. I feel like I'm skewed. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you. Be nice to each other.